With the modifications in Diablo 2 Resurrected, gambling will be far less of a trial, with the ability to reroll gamble pools and the ability to repeatedly gamble specific items. So while money still won't be the primary currency of the game for trade, it will become a lot more useful for smoothing out the RNG curve for items. So today we're going to talk about how to make money at different points in the game, especially since now we have multiple tabs to store it all in our stashes. In Diablo 2, there's pretty much two ways to make gold: enemy drops and selling items. You could trade with other players for it, but that wouldn't really be worth your while usually, since item for item trade is much more efficient. Selling items is the simpler of the two methods, and depending on where you're at in the game, what you should be picking up to sell varies. Early on, we're talking Acts 1 and 2 in normal. Throwing weapons, wands, staves, scepters, and the wide array of useful one-slot items like rings, amulets, rejuvenation potions, charms, etc. will be your main moneymakers. You'll generally want to avoid most early armors, miscellaneous weapons, and class-specific items that you don't plan on using, since they'll often not return enough money to justify the trip home. After you reach late Act 2 though, you'll probably have gotten to the point where most of the previous good income items just aren't worth it. The only ones still giving value similar to gold drops being skill items like staves, wands, and scepters, and the one slotters like we said, rings, amulets, jewels, and charms. And this will hold true until late normal. It is worth noting at this point that in normal difficulty, the act you're in will actually impact the maximum money you can get for these items, so if Charcy will buy it for 5,000 in Act 1, you'll want to wait until a later act to sell it. These caps are 5,000 for Act 1, 10,000 for Act 2, 15,000 for Act 3, 20,000 for Act 4, and 25,000 for Act 5, with all of Nightmare being a flat 30,000 and all of Hell being a flat 35,000. These core pickup items will change a bit though as you get into Nightmare and Hell, with exceptional elite metal armor starting to pick up worth, easily hitting the 35,000 cap in Hell. Amulets and class-specific items have the potential to do the same, but the value of rings, charms, jewels, etc. generally falling off in price to only a few thousand gold, and while it may be more profitable to carry around a half dozen 7,000 gold value rings than a 35,000 value armor, chances are you'll be picking up both to fill out the inventory for later sales if you are going specifically for this method of gold gain. All that said, while this is good gold income over time and can help you get some early equipment for like solo self-found characters, and generally just going through the story out your first time or second time, and it does pair nicely with doing magic find runs or even rune runs, you're going to want something a little bit faster whenever you're going gambling heavy, or even if you're going on shopping sprees. This is where enemy drops come in, and the use of gold find. To clarify one oddly common misunderstanding, extra gold find has one function and one function only. That is, when gold is selected to drop from an enemy, it multiplies the base amount by whatever improvement you have to your gold find. It does not make gold drop more frequently, it only makes the piles bigger. That is why we want to either farm areas with a lot of drops, or areas where less frequent but nearly guaranteed large drops are common. The most popular, and best without a doubt, gold farming spot is easily the Council in Hell, with frequent gold drops, not to mention fairly good other drops like rainbow facets, runes, etc. It just blows everything else out of the water. In a similar realm of difficulty though, but a much longer walk up, you also have bail runs, since the super unique summons like Lister use similar drop pools to champion packs with a lot of gold drop potential. Doing this also lets you travel through several level 85 areas with plenty of boss packs, so it's a good combo with magic find. In the same vein as running into areas with boss packs can be profitable as well, especially if you're lucky and get champion spawns, since, like we said, they favored gold drop just in general, though neither of these really compare to the Council. Outside of these more concentrated farming areas, cows with gold find setups can also be fairly profitable. It is a bit slower than the previous options, but is significantly easier to manage, especially whenever you're starting out and still working on that good gear. You'll also usually get a handful of runes per run at a decent player count, which can help you trade for items that you need as well. And a gold find barbarian companion can greatly improve the gold income of the party pretty much in any of these gold farming spots, just like the magic find barbarians can do for magic find by using find item on corpses. It just gives you a second opportunity for these drops, and gold can come from find item. Generally speaking, after all that though, the strategy I generally use is just to sneak in a pinch of extra gold find as I go through doing other types of farming, or to pick up gold as I'm going through the story, since I play through quite a few times with various builds, and it is super easy to integrate into pretty much any normal plan. Though you may be wondering, how would you spend all this newfound cash? Well, stay tuned, a shopping guide is coming soon for gambling and for actual, shopping the merchants.